All right, let's start streaming. Hi everybody, I'm gonna do another one of these off-the-cuff live streams today. I'm gonna see if it makes sense to make a video about Brandon's iPhone 13. That Brandon sent us a kind of a bag of phone, everybody's least favorite thing to get in the mail. So we're gonna jump into it. Let me get set up here for live stream. And then as we go along, I'll make some clips. And if this turns out to be an interesting repair, something we can learn from, then I'll make a video to put on the main channel later. So let's see, what do I need to do to get this going? All right, it says hello. All right, this is my new thing.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Yes, but
Yeah.
is this the 13th? Are you on right now?
Yeah.
This is the one that sent the other phone?
Yeah. Tell me what you want to say about it.
I don't want you to do it on live stream. This is the one that you offered to do a house for.
Yeah. So it's a look at it, it's a bag of phone. No, it's a great idea. All right. So we're gonna set up this. Yeah, I mean he doesn't like have a quote, right? It's just kind of crazy.
Oh, you quoted him $100.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
$100 repair for Brandon's bag of phone. We're gonna see, let's see if we can turn Brandon's bag of phone into an iPhone 13 for $100. Let's see what we can do. All right, how do we want to start this? Let's see. Okay, here comes some chat. Love the hair. The hair is a little Elvira, and on this camera it looks black. I look like I'm wearing a Halloween wig. Sunday told me, "Oh, look, you dyed your hair. You know you're gonna have to like get it touched up in like 8 hours." We'll see. Okay, I'm not yet 50, so I figure I've got like a year to like not embrace the gray. So we'll see. Is that the same person calling me and you? I don't know what that is. All right. Okay, so here's the deal. I am going to make a clip here as we sort of start in with Brandon's phone. I looked at it for a second and it just had a hilarious note, so I thought it would be something that might make a funny video. I don't know. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to start recording in addition to streaming, and if all goes well, that will ultimately turn into a video. All right, so what do we have going on here? Let me set this up. Let me get this out of the way. Let's move this over and shrink it down. Okay, here we go. And let's focus on this guy. Okay, yeah. All right. Now we're gonna make a clip. All right, we're gonna see what we can learn here with a bag of phone sent in by Brandon. This is everyone's least favorite thing to get in the mail. You've got like we got some green duct tape. We got a bunch of screws all jumbled together in a bag, and then we've got a phone. And I remember this guy. He popped up on chat, and he was saying, "I got an iPhone 13 that got wet, quit working. I don't need data. Just wanted to be a phone again." And it kind of sounded like it might be a parts problem. So I told him, look, your best bet is to just send us like an iCloud locked phone for us to do a board swap. If your board is not water damaged, that'll work. So that was what I thought might happen. What he sent was a brand new iPhone 13 from the Apple Store, and his note says that he wants to get this back so he can take it back to the store. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. When I look at this scenario, I don't have high hopes. But we'll see if Brandon is right on this one. So here's his note. iPad Rehab team. So he's filled out this whole kind of like odd quote. We didn't really quote him. We just said, we'll take a look. He says, "I spoke to Sunday about this phone. I enclosed the email that I was responded to." So he says that the phone was dropped in water, but it worked for 3 weeks after. And then he says this, I'd never heard this before. On a side note, when it stopped working, I was burning a stump. That's what it says right here. Sunday, did you know that?
Yes, it is.
You did?
I did.
Tell me all, what did you ask me any
I was
questions?
surprised because he said he was burning a stump. I thought, did he drop the phone? I'm thinking he's going to say, I dropped the phone in the fire.
Yeah.
But he just said it might have gotten hot in his pocket while he was burning the stump.
I know, I want to know more about this. Like, is that a thing? You burn a stump
You burn stumps.
to like get them out of your yard? I mean, we had a stump when
But he didn't
the big
get
tree
in the
fell down.
fire. Like,
So
why
he's
would-
just standing by a giant campfire with a phone in his pocket that stopped working. It had been wet, standing next to a campfire. Now it doesn't work, and he thinks that that's why.
hot in his pocket.
Okay,
So
okay. Let me answer this real quick. All right, here we go. Okay, so we got Brandon's phone. He was burning a stump. So it might have gotten hot in my pocket. I mean, I don't know what kind of heat comes off a burning stump, but you know, wouldn't it like burn your leg and you jump back? Like, I don't know. That sounds weird. Might be, and then this is crazy. He says, you know, it might be like that phone in the iPhone 13 no schematics video. So we already did a video on just some iPhone 13, which they're hard to work on because they don't have schematics. So you have to do a lot of guessing and relating to other phones in order to fix board level. So he's hoping that it has a short near the NAND. So Brandon's theory is that he got his phone wet, it worked for 3 weeks, he burned a stump in his yard, and that caused a short near the NAND. That's the theory, all right? So we're gonna find out. Is the customer always right? So Brandon has sent us a bag of foam, which normally we wouldn't even take in, but it just sounded hilarious. So we said yes. So here we go, Brandon's phone. And we are gonna start by opening it up. All right, so I'm gonna hit stop on clip number 1. And chat, tell me does everything look in focus? Is this something you can hear? All right, the device needs no reason to stop working. Okay, all right. So now we're gonna go ahead and start another clip where the clip is gonna be about opening the phone, and so we're gonna see what's inside. All right, so here's one thing though, if you don't have one of these, we just finished up course week and we started putting these in everybody's folder, and I said, you know what, this is something that every shop should have. So we stuck it on the supply store because this is what helps me tell, you know, is this a 12 or a 13? You know, there's all these little clues on how to tell them apart. It's really great for people that are learning, you know, if you've just hired somebody to tell apart the phone. So iPhone cheat sheet, just want to make sure 2 cameras here. Yep, that's iPhone 13, not 13 Pro. So with the 13s, they're all different, you know. 13 mini, 13, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, they're all different. And that's gonna be important when we go to try to boot this phone up. All right, so let's just try and open this up with a good old magic glass. So let's start a new clip. Okay, we're gonna jump right in here and open up Brandon's phone, which is extremely easy to open because it's been opened before. And he said, that was another thing I remember from the chat. Brandon said that he picked up the phone with no screen on and then he asked for a discount. Always a bad sign. That's the last thing anybody ever wants to hear is it gonna be the same price? Because I already took the screen off. And it's like, well, that means you're gonna have your screws, instead of being all organized on a screw tray like this, your screws are going to show up in a bag like this, which is a lot more work for us. So no, there is no discount for you tearing into your own phone. All right, so let's see what we have. Oh, okay, this screen's not even attached. All right, and does it look, yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of wetness there. All right, hopefully this screen works. If not, then Brandon, we're gonna have to take apart your brand new iPhone 13. And I'm not even sure you want us to do that because you're not going to be able to return it if we take the screen off of it. they're definitely going to wise up if we put this screen back on that and you go back to the Apple store. But hopefully it won't come to that. We'll see. Because if Brandon is right, the customer is always right, then there's going to be just a little bit of board damage from standing next to a stump that was on fire, and we're just going to clear that right up with the X-Acto knife. All right, so let's see. We've got everything disconnected. Looks like, you know, wet-ish in here, but the board, usually when these things get wet, they don't get water damage on the board all the time. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times these are really, you know, covered up and closed up, and you might have charge port, battery, camera, you know, you might have problems with stuff plugged in, but a lot of times the board itself is okay, which is why I thought we could do this housing swap. Next step, we're going to go to the DC power supply and ask, does Brandon's iPhone 13 turn on? All right, so we'll go to a next clip. So let's see if we can set this up. Now here's one of the things that I wanted to cover with a video. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. It's about the squids. What do you guys think on chat about these squids? These squids are driving me crazy. I don't like any of the ones that China has decided to make. So the old squids looked like this, and the new squids have these flexible ones, and if you tear it, then game over. These old style, you could just resolder back on. So bummed out. I ordered a whole bunch of this style to sell in the store, and they said, sure, no problem. And then they sent me this style, and they refused to go back and make the good old-fashioned kind. So we're stuck with what China feels like making, which is this. And they can really get you into trouble. So I'm going to make a clip about why. Let me set up the DC power supply, though. So let's get this going over here. So I got to monkey around with some settings to get that going. The customer is always right unless he's wrong. Yes. Audio, video, good. All right, perfect. We just had class here for 7 days. It's so quiet in here because it was so busy. We had, you know, 8 students plus Mark was here, Brad, and now it's super quiet. It's just me back here, so you guys can be my buddies now. But it's so quiet. We were just, you know, filled with these guys, and I wanted to point out some of the stuff that comes up during course, like these squids. All right, so they removed the audio port, and it's not even waterproofed. Well, it's waterproofer, you know, like it does seem to do better than the older phones for sure, but it's not really waterproof, and people don't realize that, so they'll intentionally put it in pools and, you know, go scuba diving, and it can't do that. All right, let's set up the good old DC power. So I'm going to figure that out. I need to open some software called Easy Power. Open Easy Power, and let's see, Easy Power. This is the kind of stuff that usually, when live streams were the main thing I did, all of this stuff I'd set up in advance, and now we're going to just do it sort of the laid back live stream. All right, so we're going to say open, and now I see DC power on my screen. Can we show it on yours? DC power, click there, click here. Yeah, boom, there it is. Okay. All right, so now let's do a clip for the potential video about these squids. So I think I might make like a little short maybe. I don't know. How long can shorts be? Because I'm not sure I'm going to be good at that. And I really want to do a short or a small piece of a video that just warns people about these squids and how they can really mess you up. Let's see. Greetings from Iraq. It's a long way away. All right. Hello, Iraq. Greetings from Rochester, New York. Okay. I'm going to make a clip here about these squids, unless Sunday has a question. What's up? Everything fine? Are you playing with an iPad?
No, I'm trying to hold down the tempered glass.
Oh. Because Betsy and Maisie need their iPad back so they can do Procreate, which is super fun to like draw hair on Brad.
It's all finished.
Okay. Oh, it is? So I can take it? Great. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about squids on a clip. Okay, before we jump into putting the DC power on Brad's phone, let's look and have a word on squids and these newer phones, iPhone 12, 13 series. Here's the deal. China has decided that they're only going to make this kind of squid. That's not my favorite. My favorite was the kind where when the little connectors came off, you could just resolder them back on. They're not doing that anymore. Under no circumstance will they make that again. We're stuck with these. Now there is another one by Mechanic they do have the little wires, but those have such a thick connector. We tried it and it's in the trash can. It's got all of the Android connectors. It's unusable, completely unusable for plugging into boards like this that are still in the housing. So don't get that one. This is the one that we're selling in the supply store, but I need to make sure that you guys know a couple of things about it. Number one problem with the squid. If you plug this squid into a phone that has a short circuit, and then you go, oh, short circuit, and you disconnect it, the little battery connector will immediately break off. So here's the tip. If you plug the squid into a phone with a short, disconnect at the DC power, wait, and then disconnect it, and your squid will last a lot longer. And then here's problem number two. The way they've made these squids, they've combined lots and lots of phones on these tiny little connectors. So for example, the 12, so if we look here at the 12 squid connector, did you know that the 12 mini, 12 Pro Max, and the 12 and 12 Pro, they actually have completely different batteries. So the battery plus minus is reversed between the 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. So how can you use one squid connector if in the 12 Pro plus is over here, minus is over there, and in the 12 Pro Max plus is over here, minus is over there? What's up with that? How can you even use that? So here's the thing that you're just magically supposed to know. When you plug this into a 12, it goes this way like you would normally plug in the battery. And if you're going to plug it into a 12 Pro Max, you have to plug it in from the opposite side. Mind blown. Did you guys know that? That is so crazy. Let me show you on Brandon's phone here what that looks like. So here we've got this one flex that's got, I can do 13 mini, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max. Those are all different phones. And now if we say, how do we plug the squid into the battery? Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so which one of these guys is the battery? Right here. You can see it's connected to the battery. This is the battery flex. Right there, that's the battery connector. So we can see up on DC, there we go, up on DC power supply, we've got our 4.19-ish, 4 plus or minus volts, 4 volts of battery pressure going into the phone. And if I just simply connect this, Brandon's phone is a 13. So if I just plug this in like you've been doing for years, watch what happens. Well, that's very weird. What happens is it consumes current. So I'm going to have to figure out why that's not working here on my display. Ooh, that's doing weird stuff. All right, connect, disconnect. All right, let me end that clip. Now we got to figure out why does it look like that. So what I'm seeing on DC power is, here's my black lead. When I plug that in, I'm seeing, it looks like a full short high current 3 amps. It's hitting the current limit as if it is short to ground. But that's not what this guy's saying. So we're going to have to figure out why. All right. I'm going to look over here and see, is it because it's not on? Let's turn this off. Let's see. Messing around. I really hate using this one. Timer is empty. What the hell does that mean? All right, all on, all off, and then just channel 1 on. Okay, what does it do now? Okay, there we go. Yep, that looks normal to me. Does it look normal to you? No, it doesn't. Why not? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay, so we'll have to. It's like it does, but it's just on a massive delay. All right, disconnect. And how do I refresh that? There it goes. Oh, I see. I got to have that over here. All right, I think I got it figured out enough for us to make another clip. All right, so right now we've got 4.19, so that's that 4 volts of battery pressure. Going to push into the battery, and we're going to connect this just the same way that you always have. You know, the same way that the battery connects it from this side of the phone. We're going to just plug that squid right in and see what happens. All right, and what happens? Answer is, as soon as we plug it in, we see that there appears to be a short in the phone. Look at that, 3 amps of current is leaking to ground. That's pretty crazy. Let's disconnect. So I'm disconnecting at the DC power supply, so I disconnected it. And now I'm going to reconnect it. Is that really what's happening here? Yep, as soon as I reconnect it, this squid is allowing this situation to appear like a short to ground, but I don't think that Brandon's phone actually has a short to ground, and here's why. Because on the iPhone 13, so not the same as the 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, using this squid, you have to rotate it around and come in from the other side. So now let's plug it in. So did you know that? You have to just be really careful. Here's the bottom line. If you think that you have a short because of what DC power supply says when you're using these squids with the 13s or 12s, stop, get out your multimeter and check to make sure you actually have that short. That has definitely trolled me when I first started using these squids, so I hope that it doesn't also troll you. All right, now let's see what happens here on Brandon's phone. Now I'm going to connect, and it looks like there's not actually a short because DC power chills out at 0. All right, I'm going to end that clip. And then I'm going to go find it, and I'm going to name it under Show Recordings. I'm going to name that one Squid, so that we can edit that into, I don't know how to make shorts. It's impossible. It's beyond me. All right. I am blind and cannot see the chat. Can someone tell me the email address for iPad Rehab? Sure. info@ipadrehab.com. All right. If the old squid connectors, you could resolder them, how difficult is it to desolder the connector on the flat ribbon and solder them back onto the... You mean, oh, that's a good idea. I like it. So we've got an idea of, well, why don't you just cut that and just kind of get those connectors. That is definitely doable, but you're going to run out of these. You know, so you can repair these, but you can't, you know, you'd have to build them. I don't know. Like, that would be hard to do, don't you think? You'd have to get these little boards. Well, you could probably use all these old ones from iPhone 4 or 5. What do you guys think? You know, could you do that? It's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do a project. Let's update, let's improve the improved squids back to the old school squids. But I like that idea a lot. I think we should try it. All right. If you replace them with the original connectors, they don't break. Yes. All right. The inverse connection came for the backwards squids, stayed for the exploding batteries. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, show that board under with a thermal camera. That'd be cool. All right, so I think we're all on the up and up. So now I'm going to continue on. If you're just joining, my new plan with streaming is the informal live stream as it really happens, like truly bona fide live. And then I'm just going to make a series of clips as we go along that if there's something interesting, like this battery thing, like the fact you gotta flip your squids, everybody needs to know that. So, you know, maybe turn that into its own separate little video so it's not just buried in these enormous live streams. Okay, so now let's go back to make a clip about Brandon's phone. Here we go. All right, so you've got to remember that you have to flip your squid, and we're going to make a short video on how to know which way to plug your squid in. But on the 13, not 13 Pro, not 13 Pro Max, you got to pay attention to each one. You've got to connect the squid here from the frame side, not from the battery side. And we've got it all connected up. And we see VCC main is okay, the main power rail is fine. Now we're going to prompt to boot. And I'm going to prompt to boot just by pressing Brandon's power button and see what does it do. Hopefully it just boots right up and nothing's wrong. So let's see. Prompt to boot. Nothing's happening at all. Let's see. Where's my... Please tell me I didn't break my squid. I'll be really mad if that happened. Oh, I know. I can't press the power button when all of the buttons, when everything here is disconnected. So let's actually... I'm curious if something connected to the board, one of these connectors, you know, like wetness in his camera or something like that kind of is the problem. Let me just connect up some of these. All right, still okay. Still okay. Now we should be able to prompt to boot. Prompt to boot, prompt. And now I can see, so it looks like it's on a delay for you guys. I think I have to move this around. There we go. Look at that. Now, as soon as I prompt to boot, we see the current jump up, not to 3 amps, but to 1.9 amps and hang out. So that is a short circuit, and that tells me, Brandon, you were right, so far at least. You stood next to a stump on fire. Burning stump makes shorts. Now, I don't know if it's a NAND area short like you predicted. Hopefully you're right, because that'd be really easy to fix. So far, so good, though. All right, so now we know we have a short. So let's go ahead and see if we can guess what line is short. Let's just probe around the NAND area and see if we can find a short. All right, let's get under the microscope. All right, so we're going to, same thing here. I'm going to disconnect my DC power, and then I'm going to wait, because if I just flick this out right now, it will often just break that squid connector. It'll kind of remain in the battery. Yeah, it's still a little bit warm, but did I get away with it? I think so. Shoo! Squid lives to see another day. All right, I'm going to hide the DC power. And now let's go under the microscope and let's see what we can see. Good afternoon from PA. All right. Resoldering a bunch of inadequate Chinese equipment. Make it usable. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Sometimes, you know, China stuff is, you know, very hit or miss. Sometimes there's like really cool, great ideas. Like one of the new things that we're going to sell in the supply store is this cool idea of an HDMI cable extender, so you could diode mode from a little dongle, where we have this really awesome repair that we fixed over the weekend with the students, brain dead Nintendo Switch. Such a cool repair. Brad figured it out because he's amazing, and I'm working really hard to convince Brad to do a video about this Nintendo Switch. How hard is it to fix brain dead Nintendo Switches? It's pretty hard. Brad found this like really hard to find problem. Super cool. So I really hope that we can talk him into doing a video about that. Well, we'll see. All right. Let's see if we can see this under the microscope. So I've also changed up my microscope a little bit. And let's see if you can see the microscope. We got to get rid of the hand cam. All right, here's the microscope. All right, now let's go ahead and just go on a hunt for NAND area shorts. So let's do it. Okay, so Brandon, at least, Brandon, you're getting something out of watching the channel. because he said, you know, Jessa, I've already seen you fix an iPhone 13 with no schematics where the same current pattern that we just saw was due to a short circuit that was NAND power. So here's the NAND chip on Brandon's phone. And when we look around, do we see any water around here? A little piece of glitter or something, but no, this is really not wet around here as far as we can tell. Looks absolutely perfectly fine. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and diode mode around. So I'm just going to diode mode around red probe on ground and just see if I think that any of these come up short. And I'm just going to test the larger ones that are at the corners. That tends to be a failure point. Ah, look at that. First one back here, normal. So this, not the cap, but the line that this cap is on, does not have a short. But down here, NAND power, that line is short. Now, we don't necessarily know it's because of this particular cap. In fact, that's one of the things I was telling. We had 3 students here from the Bahamas, and I kept telling them a new rule. Don't fall in love with the cap that you find that shows you the shorted line. So don't fall in love with that cap just because it beeps on your multimeter. No, it doesn't mean that that cap is the cause of the short. It could be, but it could also be anything else along the line. All right, so let's look and see what line is this and where does it go? And then we're going to get the thermal camera out to see if indeed it's this capacitor getting hot, or is it something else that's on that same line? Because if the line is short anywhere, the line is short everywhere. All right, so we're going to end that, and now we got to figure out how to get some ZXW up in here. All right, just want to say something is very obvious for us all, but you are very good at this. Oh, thanks, Web Monster. Thanks for watching. I know these live streams are long and, you know, hard to watch. So hopefully my vision is that, you know, some people like me, I'm working here by myself. The whole shop is gone. Jean is at the hospital with her husband. Brad couldn't get into work because the weather's too bad, slip sliding around. All of the students that were so busy all week have gone home, and I'm by myself. No Mark, went back to Jacksonville. So you guys are company, and it's fun to just sort of work with people around. And hopefully some of you guys, you know, find the same thing, like just kind of have a little repair going on in the background while you're working on something whatever corner of the world that you're in. And then if we learn something together, I can chop it into a video that maybe people can watch without having to invest their whole day into this stuff. All right, let's see. Some switches are nightmares. I have one with blue screen of death, reballed APU, RAM, eMMC, swap 2 max ICs, and still the same. Well, none of those things that you fixed would have fixed the one that Brad fixed. So maybe I'm making him do a video. We're gonna do a video so you can check for the same exact problem. Maybe that's what's wrong with your switch, I don't know. It was a really cool and unusual fault and very easy to fix, ultimately. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Right now, we're gonna get ZXW working so that we can look up all the possible places where this shorted line goes. So it probably is NAND power, because that's just the common fault. And I don't know why it is. I've seen a number of these 12s and 13s continue to have the same sort of NAND power short circuits, just like the older phones. Anybody know why that is? I used to think on the older phones that it was because of water, because in the older phones, the SIM tray was really close to the NAND and water would come in there. But there's no water here that I can see, and I really don't think standing next to a stump on fire is going to do it. But what do I know? All right, let me try to dig up iPhone 13 on ZXW. So let me try to enable that over here. Is that going to work? Yes. Okay, and now we're going to find iPhone 13. Here's the 13. Here's the 13. We're going to open it up, and we'll go ahead and make a clip here. All right, so we've got ZXW open, and now we're going to hunt for where is this shorted line and what all is on the shorted line. So it's going to be by the NAND, so we're going to look on the top side of the board. Here's our NAND, and the first place we checked was, is this line short? And the answer was no, and it looks like that line goes from the PMU to this cap, and I don't know, but that line's not short, so we don't care. This line, ding, this line is short. So where does it go? This looks a lot like our PP3VO NAND power line that drives power for the NAND chip in every phone, all the way back down to those early phones, all the way, I know iPhone 6, and I think even iPhone 5 series, I'm not sure. But they all get a short here, and it always shows up on DC power, just like Brandon. Even Brandon could recognize, yeah, I bet my phone's got a 3VO NAND short. And it looks like he was right. The customer is sometimes right. This bag of phone, Brandon said, hey, I think it's going to be an easy fix. And he was right. Can you believe that? A bag of phone that's been to a shop that took off the screen. He picked it up with no screen. He wants a discount. He's got a battery replacement. That's going to actually turn out to be something straightforward. Crazy. Mind blown. The hardest thing about this phone is going to be figuring out all those screws that he took off. All right, so still, where is the cause of the short? It could be the cap that we're not supposed to fall in love with, or it could be any of the neighbors, it could be these guys, or it could be the NAND itself, in which case it's not going to be an easy fix. And then there's a couple of caps up at the top. So let's go ahead and fire up the thermal camera to see which one of these spaces is the thinnest wire and is therefore going to get hot. Usually, the thing that becomes a short to ground makes itself into a thin wire so we can see it on heat, but not always, so don't get trolled. All right, so let's go to the thermal camera. All right, so we'll hit stop and figure that out. All right, it's great content, making a retired engineer use his brain again. All right. Okay, what kind of engineer? Because my son is applying to college. He just found out that he got accepted at Northeastern, which sounds super fun, but it's just way too damn expensive. It's just, you know, I don't know how anybody can afford this. So I don't know what to tell him. Is it really, does it make a huge difference between getting a degree from a state school here in New York, one of the SUNY schools, versus Northeastern or, you know, one of the top 50 schools? How much more would you pay for that degree? I don't think it's worth like $200,000 more. What do you think, chat? What are your thoughts on where to go to school, especially if you are going to be an engineer? All right, let's see. Even if the NAND is bad, it's possible to just replace it and you don't have to reprogram. That is true. I always forget this is not data recovery. This is repair. So we could replace Brandon's NAND, but not for $100, which is what he's hoping this is going to come in as a $100 repair. So far, he might be right. All right, we got to jump through a lot of hoops here to set up the thermal camera. Today, I'm going to use the crappier Super Cam because it shows nicely on YouTube. All right, let's see. Hi, Jenna. My first time on live. I've caught your New York friend Lewis more than a few times, so big hello. I've gone dark on the hair. Yes, I'm aware. It's as much of a shock to me. I went out for a run. I went to the hair lady and was like, you know, let's just do something different. And then I said, I kind of wanted to be more like, I'm about to be 49, my last year before I'm 50. I'm not yet 50. So I want to look kind of like I always have. I never had like black hair. So I think she just went a little bit dark. Maybe it like washes out. I don't really know. All right. Shouldn't be any different. The education you get that's mattered. The next step, get to a good point, is up to the person to aim towards that goal. UK engineer, so different system. Well, that doesn't help me make any decisions. All right. I mean, I really feel bad for all of these kids. It is how are they supposed to know what they want to do? And it's like walking up to a roulette table and putting $100,000 on. Maybe I want to be a engineer. What kind of engineer? Oh, there's different kinds. I didn't know. Yeah, it's overwhelming. All right, let's see where the, let's see, maybe this is going to work. I'm going to get this notoriously difficult to connect camera to connect, and hopefully it's not going to involve me digging underneath this desk, but it almost certainly is. All right, where is the software for this thing? It might be time for me to clean off the desktop. Do you guys do this? Like if you're going to give a talk or something, make a folder called clean the desktop and then just dump everything into it, because you can still find it on search. I don't know that this software is even on here anymore, because I think that somebody was moving it around and might have uninstalled it. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's look for it. I think it's called QL Helper or something. Let's look in this folder. QL Quick Repair. QLCX Repair. All right, that guy. Sign in. And, all right, let's say thermal imager. And embiggen it. And open the software. All right, software is open, but the camera does not appear to get any power from that port, which sucks. Let's try the next one. And it does not like that either. So, all right, I'm gonna have to go shove this thing in. Where can I plug this in? Let's see. Now I'm doing a Lewis stream where I remember one time he went to go to the store to buy a 9-volt battery while he was on stream, and then he came back. Is that gonna work any better? Yeah, I think so. Kind of. Yeah! All right, that's going to work. Let's make that there. And let me make it sort of focused-ish. All right, we'll bring it into the display software. So we're going to bring it into Open Broadcaster. So goodbye, ZXW. Hello, thermal camera. Let's just add it. Add a window capture, thermal, say OK. The name is already in use. How about thermal 3? Yeah, it's gonna work. Thermal camera. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Can everybody see the thermal camera? All right. I don't live in the US, but we have university and schools that have better reputation and such, and they cost based on that, but the education, good education overall. Talking Jessica Chair, yeah. In fact, my kid got accepted to Northeastern Global Scholars, which sounds so cool. I want to go to it. You get to do your first year in London at Northeastern University London, which was formerly NCH. So I think Northeastern bought that college. So that sounds super fun. Who doesn't want to do a semester in London? And then the second semester, first year, you get to go to Oakland, California, which is way better weather than the cold snow stick season up here. So fun. I want to go to that. I would love to do that. But I have no idea how real people pay for this stuff, so who knows? Okay, let's do a clip now to see what we can learn from. I think I'm going to take my squid back and put it in my normal DC power instead of the on-screen one. And we're just about ready to plug this in. Let's see. All right. Okay, we're about ready to do it. Okay, let's make a clip. All right, with the thermal camera, this isn't plugged in yet, but our NAND area is up here by my super hot finger, and we're gonna slide down here, plugging in our DC power, which we've learned that on the 13, we have to plug it in from the opposite side that you would expect. So from the frame, here's the battery. Okay, now we're gonna kind of pull it down so that the NAND area-ish is in focus. Here's the spot that we measured, you know, so right here. Let's see, I can stick my finger here, right on that side, right there. That's the capacitor that we're not supposed to fall in love with, just because it's the first one that we measured on the shorted line. Because if we measure all of them, they're all going to measure short, because the line is short. And if the line is short anywhere, the line is short everywhere. Okay, let's prompt it to boot and look for heat. Prompt, prompt, prompt. Whoa, whoa, look at that. That's our spot. That's the same dude, the guy we're not supposed to fall in love with. Man, look at that, Brandon. I think you are right. The customer is right. Always right. I don't know, but Brandon, I think you're right. Somehow, standing next to a stump on fire did indeed cause a NAND short. I have no idea how that is possible, but that definitely seems to be what's going on. Yeah, so now we can say that your hotspot, the thinnest wire on this board, is exactly that cap that we first measured. So therefore, we are going to delete it. Let's go ahead under the microscope and take a look at it. So we're going to go here, and we're going to use the iPad Rehab Short Killer. The iPad Rehab Short Killer, which has fixed more boards than any other tool in this shop. Ta-da! The iPad Rehab Short Killer. We are going to go ahead and kill this short. All right. Can be a future stream idea. Chair stream and doing repairs. Wear a blue suit and do repairs.
If you'd like to.
We had that idea. In fact, I have in the drawer behind me, I have a whole can of green paint. This was my idea for Brad, that if I could just get him to let me paint him green, then he would just be invisible, except for maybe his hands. So cool, but he will not let me do that either. All right. How did you inject voltage? Just through the battery. I mean, we could have soldered a wire, but there's, you know, it's easy we don't have to take the board out. It's hard to take these boards out with the antenna and stuff, so just inject voltage right there through the battery connector through the squid. Okay, let's see where our spot is. And it was right here. So I'm going to just take away some of this coating just to kind of look and say, does that guy look at all wet? No, it doesn't. It looks great. How the heck can that possibly be the short? And yet, that's getting hot. Beep, beep. It is measuring low resistance to ground on that 3VO NAND side. All right, safest way, believe it or not, to eject this guy from this area with this underfilled NAND is to use the iPad Rehab Short Killer and simply knock it off. Let's put that blade in there a little bit better. There we go. Boop. There he goes. It does look a little burned on the other side. So this is, did it get hot in Brandon's pocket from just simply standing next to a stump on fire? I don't know. Probably not. PSA, stump fires can kill your iPhone 13. Look at that. Short is now gone. All right, Brandon, please tell me that your screen works, because if your screen works, this is indeed a super easy repair. You were right, and we can put this thing back together for you and get your iPhone 13 on the road, and you can return your iPhone 13 from the Apple Store. This is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be awesome. Please let that screen work. If not, the iPhone 13 screen is not gonna be, you know, super cheap. All right, let's see. Let's see, does it turn on? All right. Well, can you believe that? I'm stunned. Can you believe that a bag of phone is going to turn out indeed to be a simple, straight up, normal single capture? I did not see that coming when he was talking. I did not see that coming when I saw this bag of phone. All right. How did you go to this line directly even before taking the board out of the case? Experience. And part of the story of it is that because this, if you're just joining us, this this note was really funny. So if you missed the beginning of the live stream, the note was really funny. It's Brandon who says, Brandon's just a guy who watched the channel, and he says, his phone was dropped in water. It worked for 3 weeks. On a side note, he says, when it stopped working, I was burning a stump. So it might have gotten hot in my pocket. And then he says, might be like that phone in your video, iPhone 13, no schematics. And this is what he says. Look at this. He says, and a short near NAND. Way to go, Brandon. Way to watch the channel and get information. I love this. All right. So we still don't know if it's going to turn back on, though. So let's get ready to take another clip, and let's see. All right. I have to confess, when I was at college learning my diploma in electronic engineering, come back early from lunch, crank up the rail voltage, reverse connect electrolytic caps, and then go bang. Okay, so you're getting your money's worth out of that college. All right. According to Apple, only using your iPhone wrong can kill it. Well, I mean, does it say in the manual that you can't stand next to a burning stump? Because if not, it should. All right, an Apple certified bonfire. I guess not. I don't think that Brian has Apple certification for fires. I don't think so either. All right, now let's see if we can get the hand cam working and we can make another clip. Let's see. Where are you, hand cam? I kind of like this new live stream format because it's less, stressful. There's less pressure to make the video like kind of in and out, short and watchable, because most of the time if you do a live stream, the majority of people that watch it after the fact, after it has become a video. And if it's just a lot of downtime, nobody likes it. All right, we're going to plug in everything and see if it's going to turn back on. Please let this screen work. All right, I think that we should fire up the DC power on screen just so that people can see what it's supposed to look like. Here we go, DC power. DC power is kind of wigging out a little bit because it's not, it's on a delay from what I'm seeing, unless I actively engage with the window. Okay. Where's my 13? All right, we'll put Brian's bag of screws right there. Okay, that's good enough to make a clip. All right, here we go. We've got, let's zoom this back out. All right, I've connected everything. I have plugged in his front flex, his screen. Everything is connected. So this is going to tell us whether or not his phone can boot up. So we'll watch the DC power, and it will tell us whether or not his expensive screen is still working. That's really going to be the deal breaker here. All right, let's see. 13, plugging in. Okay, we're connected. All right, I really want to see this boot up. Prompt to boot. Pressing the power button, prompt, prompt, prompt. Come on, show me an Apple logo. Nope. Come on, Brian's phone, Brandon's phone. Uh-oh, God is starting to get his name wrong. There we go. Yay! There's an Apple logo. That is awesome. Let me make it clear. There we go. Look at that. His screen is alive. That's such a huge win. All right. Now I can see on my DC power, it looks pretty normal. So hey, look at that. It booted up. There we go. Now we can see that normal DC power booted up, has touch. This is awesome. So there's really not going to be anything else wrong with this phone. This is just crazy. I can't believe it. I can't believe that a bag of phone where it's already been to another shop, sent to me with a bunch of screws in a bag with the screen off. He said, like, do I get a discount if I've already taken off the screen? No, because you made the job harder. He's bought this entire donor phone saying, well, I really hope you don't have to use it because I want to return this. And he totally called what was wrong with it just from watching YouTube. Look at this. I'm going to show his note here. He called this, right? He said the phone was dropped in water. It worked for 3 weeks after. And then he says, on a side note, check this out. This is the first time this has ever happened, I think. When it stopped working, I was burning a stump, crazy, so it might have gotten hot in my pocket. And then he says it right here. It might be like that phone in the iPhone 13 no schematics video. Look at that. And a short near the NAND. Way to go, Brandon. Good for you, man. You are absolutely right. This is indeed a straightforward repair. You're going to get to take this back to Apple and say, you know what? I'm not buying your new phone, Apple. I'm fixing my phone. This phone is good to go. If you leave that single capacitor off on that 3VO NAND line, that's not going to create any problem in my experience. Putting it back on does create a problem in my experience with the heat, the underfill in that area. So the safest thing to do is to just put this phone back together, get it a new waterproof seal, and it's good to go. So congratulations, Brandon. This one is one for the record books, I think. All right, we'll see you next time. All right, that's the end of the clip for the video. Let me check in with chat. Brandon is a sus name, though. Is it, though? Let's see, where is he from? He's from Boondock Net. Where is he from? Where's Brandon from? Brandon's from California. No, wait, Brandon's from Louisiana. Brandon from Louisiana burning a stump. Checks out. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's a save of like, that's like $1,000 phone just fixed with a short killer. You know, this is going to go out cheap because it's not here for data recovery. So there you go. All right, very good. Okay, that I think is it for our stream. And I think, cross your fingers, if you guys know anybody that's good at editing videos that wants to take a challenge like all the clips that I made and who can turn it into a video for me, then send them my way. Because this is, you know, this is not my strength for sure. But I'm hoping that we can make a video, a little short one about the squid, flip the squid thing, and also just tighten up Brandon's repair because it was a fun one. All right, that's the end of the stream. I'll see you next time.